Hello, hello, and welcome back, or welcome. I am book lover Lorna. How are we? I'm okay. Doing a fair bit of reading at the moment. Realistically, I'm reading more than I'm supposed to be for the year goal that I've set. But you know, once you're kind of in the reading mood and enjoying it, you gotta make the most of it, because when we're in those reading slumps, it's just no good. It's absolutely no good. So today, I am going to be sharing my favourite reads from last year, so the best books that I read last year, in my personal opinion. Now, some of them I don't actually have copies of, because it's kind of always the way, isn't it, that favourite books end up being library ones or something like that. We'll kind of have a little chat about those. I'm kind of aimed for 5. I've got one bonus one. But it's kind of hard to narrow it down. So the way that I've done it is, obviously I gave a lot of books 5 stars last year. So I can't pick all of the 5-star books. I had a look through the ones that I rated 5 stars and essentially thought to myself, do I remember these firstly, because of my memory like a goldfish? Were they memorable, and would I want to pick them up again? So that's kind of how I've derived my list here. Now the first one, actually, we'll talk about the ones that I don't have physical copies for first. First one, I feel like you all know this. Potentially, yeah, I would say probably my favourite book of the year is Lido for Aunties. I listened to it as an audiobook, so I don't actually have a physical copy, and I don't know what reading the book experience is like. I've heard good things, but I listened to it as an audiobook and it was amazing. Proper made me laugh, massively memorable. I am counting down the days until the next book comes out, the sequel. I cannot wait for it. And it was just absolutely ace. Like, I honestly could not find a fault in it whatsoever. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Wish I could have that experience all over again. I don't know if it would be the same experience if I re-listened to it. I don't know. But for the first listen, I adored it. I loved it. Now, the next book and these are in no particular order. I mean, Lido for Aunties is probably my favourite of the year, but the rest of them are in no particular order because I haven't thought about ranking them. It would be a bit painful. The next book in the year that I really, really enjoyed was a library book, and it was Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I think the reason that one's on this list is it kind of is just stuck in my head a little bit, kind of the storyline, the themes, and I feel like it's a very powerful book for kind of I'm an adult, for an adult audience, even kind of a young adult audience. I'm 25, so maybe it's useful for kind of people around my age, but I think kind of late teens, that could be a really, really valuable book. So like, fingers crossed people are reading it, and if you're kind of that age, I'd recommend reading it. Just kind of check the trigger warnings and everything's first. I just think, firstly, easy to read. Secondly, kind of enjoyable in a weird kind of way. Thirdly, kind of just brings to the table a lot of kind of potential sensitive issues for teens, which is just, you know, if you can do that in a book and make people think, and I'm still thinking about it now, and I read it, 6 months ago, I think that's very, very valuable. Right, we're on to the physical books. Now, I absolutely loved this one. The Long, Long Afternoon by Inga Vesper. This one I actually read as a what do you call it? I don't even know, my brain is completely gone to mush. A review copy. Yes, a ebook review copy, but I bought this one after that because I loved it so much, and at one point I want to read it. This is kind of a mystery, but not really scary. It's kind of a really intriguing, like, whodunit kind of thing. Very, very enjoyable, kind of very American style, 50s, 60s vibes. I feel like when I'm reading it, I was envisaging kind of like like a sepia like effect on everything that I was picturing, which sounds really weird, but that's just the way that my brain was seeing it. Kind of made it a little bit more mysterious. I was hooked. Like, I think this is such a good kind of mystery book. I don't know what else I can kind of say after it. Such a vivid atmosphere. Someone's written as kind of like a little review that I think that's 100% accurate. Kind of feels like, basically it's like this facade behind the perfect life and actually what's going on that people don't see. It's very interesting. I don't know what to say about these books without kind of ruining them, because I want you to read them. I don't want to tell you like what they're all about. I don't want to do that. Next, this, I really enjoyed this. This is just one that's on the list because I purely enjoyed it. I think it's written really well. I basically just wanted to devour it. It just was a continuous read. Like, you didn't really want to put it down. You get to the end of a section and go, oh, well, I want to know what happens next. I don't want to put the book down. That's The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I think this is written fantastically. The storyline is very interesting, intriguing, kind of a little bit thought-provoking as well, which is quite nice. This one did get like quite popular for a while, but I've kind of not seen it around much recently. So I would love it if some people like kind of pick this up. It's very easy. Oh, feature film in development with Millie Bobby Brown. So it's coming out in a film. So you got to read the book before you see the film, guys. Come on, read the book. And then when the film comes out, there'll be like a decent gap between when you read it and when you want to watch it. And, you know, we can all go to the cinema. Fabulous. Yeah, I also think that this cover is fantastic. Like, I just bashed my glasses. I just think that that's a really attractive, appeasing cover. Appeasing? Is that a word? I don't think that is a word. I don't think that's a word. Okay. Fifth book. This is the fifth book. The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. Now, this I read at the beginning of 2021. Is it 2021? Yeah, it was 2021 last year. When the series on Netflix was starting to become kind of a thing. I read this before I watched the series. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. I can't really remember what it was about it. I just think that I was kind of very intrigued about kind of where the story was going to go and what was going to happen to her. I can't even remember her name. Beth. Oh, yeah. What was going to happen to her, kind of the route that she was going to take in her life, how her chess playing was going to go, kind of how her childhood would affect the things that she was doing in her adult life. I think I just kind of was intrigued to know the path that she was going to take, and that's kind of what kept me reading. I think it obviously was written fairly well for me to be that intrigued by it. I mean, the writing is absolutely tiny, and I'm sure I didn't take that long to read this. I definitely enjoyed this more than the series. I read this, and then after like a month or so, I tried to start watching the series. I think I only made it 2 or 3 episodes in. I just found the series really kind of like slow and dull, but this I didn't. So that's interesting. So if you didn't necessarily like the series, you might actually like this still. Or if you really like the series, you might really like this book. But if you know what happens, it's probably a bit of a different experience. But I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I feel like that's one that I'll definitely be picking up and rereading. I mean, all of these I'll probably pick up and reread at some point. So those are 5 books. Now I have a bonus book. A bonus book. Woo, bonus book. Flashing lights. Hey, crowd cheering. Bonus book. I don't know what planet I'm living on. Now this book I actually gave 4 stars to. Looking back, I kind of feel like I should have given it 5. And that is because it's kind of changed my life a little bit. So, The Lido by Libby Page. I gave this 4 stars. I think the reason I should probably reread my review, probably the reason I gave it 4 stars was that I kind of found it interesting, and I liked the story. But I think it developed a little bit slowly. I think that might have been my reason why, kind of thinking back. But this is essentially about kind of a Lido. Lol, obviously. And this older woman swims there. There's this girl who's kind of like a journalist and everything. She goes there because the Lido's being closed down to get kind of insider info, blah, blah. She ends up like swimming there and stuff. Now, this actually made me want to start swimming. So I changed my gym to a gym that has a swimming pool as well. And I now swim twice a week. Not outside, admittedly, because I live in Wales and it's January. Well, January, February. It's very cold. So, are we in January, February? Yeah, I don't even know what month of the year we're in. But it made me want to swim. I would love to swim outside, but I don't have any Lidos by me. There is a Lido that is about a 40-minute drive away, so in the summer months, maybe every other week or something, I might drive up there. It's closed at the moment because it's too blooming cold, but I really want to go there when it does open. And yeah, this book has kind of changed my life a little bit. Like, I mean, it's not groundbreaking life changes, but I really, really enjoy my swimming time, and I was never really a swimmer before. I knew how to swim. I'm a good swimmer, but I just didn't ever go swimming, like, ever. So this book has kind of changed life a little bit. So maybe I should have given it 5 stars because it's been impactful. I might not, you know, it might have been a bit slow when I was reading it, but it's had a great impact. You know, that kind of picture where you've got like the brick wall and it's like, oh, representation of the impact that one book can have, and it's like a book at the bottom and all the bricks are like pointy, like they're all, because they can't lie flat at the top, the one of the bricks is like, the bricks are like that, and then do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you will have seen it, I don't need to explain it. Basically the impact that one book can have, and this book has had a great impact. So kind of put that in there as potentially not my favourite read of 2021, definitely up there, but my most impactful. Yeah, we'll call that my most impactful read of 2021. So yeah, that's kind of the books that I enjoyed the most last year. I would probably say 1 or 2 of those, maybe 1 probably has made it into kind of my like top books ever. I feel like I'm going to have a little sit down soon and think about that, and maybe do some rereading of some of my top books to see if they still would be in like my top 5 books ever. Because I know, like, I reread like The Time Traveller's Wife a little while ago, and that wasn't, I thought that was in my top 5, but when I reread it, I was like, no, I need to take this out of my top 5. So I don't actually know what my top 5 like ever books are now. We need to have a little chat about that. Maybe we'll do that sometime soon, and kind of see if I still love those books when I reread them as well. That will be interesting. But yeah, good recommendations for you here. If you like the kind of books that I read, these are probably some of my biggest recommendations. Obviously, Dialect for Aunties and Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson was in there. Dialect for Aunties is by Jessie Sutanto, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, I mean, the Lido are most impactful, but these books, I would definitely recommend picking them up. This is quite interesting, actually, because I always kind of think of myself as a romance reader, kind of a chick lit reader, but none of these are chick lit. So am I really? No. But I don't know what bracket we would put these into. I mean, this one here, kind of a little bit of a mystery. The Girls I've Been, it's got a little bit of crime in. I don't know. What bracket do we put these in? What books do I enjoy? I don't actually know what the kind of category of books is that I enjoy the most. Who knows? I just know that I enjoy them. So yeah, that's those are my favourite reads from 2021. Go and pick them up. I would recommend. Let me know your thoughts if you read them, or if you have read them. Let me know if you agree with me. Obviously, this is all my opinions, so it's interesting to know if you think the same as me. Yeah. But that's the end of this video now, I guess. We're done. Thank you very much for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!